All right.
Whew. Maybe I should put my jacket back on.
What?
So meaty.
Creamy?
So meaty.
You're not meaty. You're just very
I'm
creamy.
meaty.
You're very creamy. Okay. On a Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast, a Kid Nation podcast.
Oh, early. It takes a minute.
Hello, ACNC12, Adrian, Ladry, Yvette, Sandra. Some of our very best customers filing in, lining up quietly, taking their seats, walking in a deliberate manner to their seats. Hello, Elizabeth Estrada, not to be confused with Liz Key or Elizabeth Betts. Hello, Stronger and Wiser. Hello, Andrew, my man. Hello, Paula, Veronica. Hello, Sin Galvan. Hello, Kitten Tracks. Sin, I don't know that we have a lot of 400 content. Hello, Edison Al. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Rosa Caceres. Hello, Hannah Herb, beautiful people. Oh, well, we'll have some fun. Hello, Michael Melkos. Hello, Rebecca. MBH 1964. Hello, Kim. Hello, Angela Boone. Maria, Lisa. Oh, that's nice. Yvette and Sandra. Yvette and Sandra. Oh no, Hannah Herb, her daughter is going to surgery tomorrow.
Oh, I hope I know no surgery is minor surgery, but I hope it's nothing serious.
Hello, Taylor, my man, my brother from another mother. Hello, El Prana 04. Kellie Rasberry Evans has some show prep to do, not for the Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast, a Kid Nation podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This would be for the nationally syndicated Kid Craddock morning show. So that's the reason we're going early tonight.
Were people questioning, or are you just...
They were questioning.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like going a little earlier, too. Don't you? If we can get it together and do it around 7 instead of 8.
Yeah. Hannah, the tubes are genius. All of the Evans kids, take that back. Dylan didn't have tubes, but Brooke and Cole had tubes, and it totally helped them with ear infections. It was amazing. And that technology is amazing. I saw the tubes one time. They were going to put in the little kids' ears, and they're so tiny you can hardly see them. It's really amazing how they're able to do that.
They just get absorbed by their body eventually, or are they?
I think they just fall out. Yeah, they put them in the eardrum, like they make a tiny incision in the eardrum, and then put the tube in there, and it's just held in there until the child gets older, and it either dissolves or it falls out. I can't remember.
So does the tube help drainage, and that's why they get?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really amazing.
I know because of backed up surgeries and stuff. I was reading, somebody was saying they're on hold to get tubes for a long time, and their child's just suffering in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, Hannah said her daughter had double ear infections for 4.5 months. Yeah, it really, she'll probably be a lot better, hopefully.
Well, that's the surgery she's having. Yeah.
Tubes.
It's got to be, you hate your baby to go under, but you know that on the other side of it, they're going to have relief.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't, I guess they couldn't do that one because, you have to be so still and precise. Like you couldn't be you have to be asleep.
Yeah.
You couldn't be in a, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Local anesthesia or whatever.
Twilight or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Ready to do it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Podcast 400, guys. 400. 4 bills. Can you believe we've made it this far? You know something?
Testing 1 2. Testing.
I'm going to kick it old school because this is how we used to do sound checks. Testes 1 2. Testes 1 2. That's
good.
That was before the lewd names.
Yeah, that was bad enough.
I got a headache that'd kill a billy goat, babe.
Have you taken a sinus headache? I think it's sinuses.
Oh my God.
I had one yesterday that was so bad, and then I went to my bar class and worked out, and when I got done, it was over.
Let me take something real quick.
Okay, Alan's going to go take something real quick. Maybe that'll miraculously fix it during the podcast.
Yeah, play hurt.
How y'all doing?
Ibuprofen.
If it's sinus headache, ibuprofen's not going to work. You need Advil cold and sinus or a Sudafed if it's sinus. Let's see. 13 months. Oh, she's going to be good. I promise. You'll be glad you did it. Yes, Hannah. Let's see. I have to get close to see. I can't see squat. Hey, Michael. Advil cold and sinus. That's all I recommend. Did you take Advil instead?
Couldn't find it.
It's up there.
Hidden.
It's not hidden. I need to buy some more of that, I think. I put it on my list.
People love lists.
I have a shopping list, an ongoing shopping list. Advil.
People love lists.
Changing of seasons, we're gonna need it. Gonna need it.
Testes 1 2. Testes 1 2.
Mine was good already. You already checked?
Yeah.
Testing.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the 400th episode of A Sandwich and Some Love. And I, for the 400th time, am Kellie Rasberry Evans. And also for the 400th time, it's my husband and podcast partner, Alan Evans.
Hey, train in the house.
And I'm sure you're all asking, what have they done? What have they done to celebrate 400 episodes? What monumental celebrations, special guests, anything of that nature? Well, surprise.
That'd be 400 minus 400 equals
0.
0.
Yeah, it's just going to be another podcast.
Wow.
Just another, well, it's going to be a good podcast, I think, but
It's going to be a good podcast.
Not really doing anything. I think 500, we better have something.
500,
prepared.
we better do something like a live podcast or on location somewhere, a big party. I think we should totally do 500 at a venue with our very best customers with us.
Yeah. And maybe we'll interview some of you guys, and hopefully you'll be slightly tipsy enough to be entertaining, but not drunk enough to embarrass yourselves or us.
400, babe.
Yeah.
400. 4 bills.
It only took us 5 years almost to get there.
Yeah.
Almost.
Did you ever envision we would go this long?
I never really thought about it. I don't think about end dates. I do. I guess I think about end dates when it comes to like the Kid Craddock morning show, because, eventually you think it has to end at some point, or I have to retire, but I just don't know what that looks like, when that will be. But I've never thought about retiring the podcast. I don't know.
Oh, I think about it every episode.
Do you?
I'm just kidding. That's not true.
Yeah.
I have fun doing this. If I didn't have fun doing this, I'd have yogurted out like year 1.
Well, you have yogurted out on a few episodes.
Not true. Well.
Yeah.
There was like 1 episode where I yogurted out. I was like,
maybe 2.
I am not working under these conditions.
Maybe 2. We can go back and dig, but
you've yogurted it out on 1.
Not at the last minute in a poopy fit.
Throwing a baby fit.
My butt on my shoulders.
Curled up sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, shaking my fist, going, wah, wah.
Well, at least you admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, none of that. This episode, a couple weeks ago, I went on Instagram and I just started throwing out some questions. I thought it'd be interesting. I always am referring to polls and surveys that other people do. It's like, well, why don't we just do our own? It's way more interesting. It's people hopefully that, follow not just me on social media, but they also follow the podcast. Because I say, these are questions I'm asking for a future podcast. So we're going to get to a batch of those tonight, which I think will hopefully spur some really great conversation among me and my husband and podcast partner, Alan Evans.
Hey, train in the house.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I was just going to say, can I be completely transparent with our very best customers right now?
Yeah.
I have a headache that would kill a billy goat. It feels like someone is sticking an ice pick into my left eye right now.
I think it's a change of weather. I think it's sinus related.
Do you think that's what's going on?
Yeah, I think, because I had that yesterday, and I went to a bar class and I thought there's no way I want to do this. I was hurting so bad, but I guess I got my blood pumping enough. And by the end of class, my headache was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But Advocol and sinus, that's my always go-to. That's my tip for everybody who has sinus. Because if you have a sinus headache, ibuprofen, none of that's going to work. It has to be a sinus decongestant.
Well, I just took 2 Tylenol and 2 Advil because Advil are gentler on your stomach, and nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, well, you just took it like 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
And that's my other tip. My doctor told me this a long time ago. If you ever need in hospitals, they give you like prescription strength Tylenol. He just said take 2 and 2, 2 Advil, 2 Tylenol. And that's like a prescription strength. I don't know that you should do that all the time, but if you have like a really massive hangover or something, you could try that.
But I'm not going to whine and moan on this podcast about my ailments.
No, please don't.
Because that's not what that's not what I do.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Right.
But I am very, very excited. A couple years ago, I was having massive shoulder pain, and it was so bad that I would reach for something and I would fall to my knees.
So it was what do they call it? Debilitating
pain. Debilitating pain. If I just didn't do anything, it was fine. But I couldn't put on my bra strap in the back. I couldn't pull things off over my head. It was debilitating. And I guess there's things you can work around. But I went to the doctor finally, and they did me one of those big wah, 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 wah. What is that, an MRI?
Yeah.
It was so loud.
They stick you in the tube?
They've got to figure out a way to do that quieter. But
Did
it's
they put
so
you
loud.
in the tube?
I was in the tube, and they were looking for tears or whatever, so I'd have to have surgery. And thankfully I didn't. I had bursitis, arthritis, and I think tendonitis.
Okay, there's 3
Is that right?
there.
It was 3 itises.
Do you think we could come up with 400 ailments?
Probably, but listen. So I went to my doctor, and he said, well, all you have to do is like these physical therapy exercises. And it's a bunch of stretching and things. And it worked. It took a while because I was in so much pain. It took a while. Well, it started flaring up again. And I told Alan after about 3 days, I'm like, this isn't just me sleeping wrong. This is it coming back. So I found a sheet of paper with my stretch exercises. And in one night of doing my stretch exercises, it was better.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. I was really excited about that.
You should have seen Kellie Rasberry Evans on the
floor,
living room floor last night. Picture one Kellie R. Evans on the floor, and she's on her side with one knee hiked up.
Yeah, I didn't have one of those roller balls,
like
foam
a
rollers,
pillow between her legs,
pillows.
And then reaching for like the sky.
Reaching,
that's kind of what she was doing.
And folding, and
yes, reaching and folding.
And it feels like, how could this possibly work? The next day I was great, and I did it again. I did it 2 nights in a row. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it because I don't want to go through that pain again. So I was really excited about that. What else? Oh, I had a bad headache, and I worked out, and that got rid of that. So I think it's also important, in addition to complaining, to talk about the positive parts of feeling better too.
Wow, we've kind of switched roles here.
Right.
I have the ailment, and you're talking about trying to be positive.
I'm trying. Honey.
Wow.
It's hard. I'm faking it.
Give us the menopause update.
I'm just not doing very well, y'all. I'm not.
The reason I asked Kellie that is because not 5 minutes before we started, she was harumphing. You were harumphing.
I was harumphing.
Yeah.
I'm not really thrilled. I mean, it's a process. I'm going to a hormone specialist that my friend referred me to, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Kellie, it's life-changing. I mean, they got my hormones, and with like 2 weeks, I was a new woman. I dropped 20 pounds. I have energy. I'm studying to become," what was it? The yoga?
A yogi?
A yogi, but it was certain kind of yoga. She's like, I'm like, well, I want some of what you have. All my friends are doing it. Everybody in my neighborhood.
Ad?
No, it's not an ad. She was saying, and they don't give me anything. I'm just so excited about it. So I was fired up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to try this too.
Nothing. Nothing. Just a lot of expense and nothing.
I did tell her this. So nobody wants you to call anymore. Nobody.
No, they want you to go into the portal.
They want you to do the app.
Or the portal.
Everything's on the app. So I'm like, she's like, you can call, but we're so busy that we never answer the phone. It always goes to voicemail. And if you want to get a faster response, you got to message me through the app. I'm like, whatever, I'll do that. So I message them. I'm like, well, time for another refill on my prescription. I'm still feeling pretty crappy. I said, the only thing that I have noticed, I did say, here's the only thing. and not as weepy as I was. And if any women have ever struggled with this, you know what I mean? You're just weepy. Everything, you just feel like you're going to cry all the time. And so I don't feel weepy like I did, but I'm not really particularly thrilled with life right now. I still have hot flashes. I don't know that they're as major as they were, but I still have them. Girl, I haven't, the pounds ain't coming off.
Okay,
I'm struggling.
She's obviously talking to the listener, not me. But
What do you mean?
because you just said, girl.
Yeah, I'm talking to the girls listening.
Wow.
Men don't have to go through this. So anyway, I finally wrote her.
We have men listeners.
I know,
too.
but
Okay.
you asked me.
Oh.
You said.
Whoa, well, easy.
So yeah, so sit back for a minute, buddy.
Easy, buddy.
So anyway, I know I'm joking. He hates my.
Did you notice our server last night called me buddy twice? And I just kind of did the.
Well, she's not married to you.
I know, but she called me buddy. I was like, what? Buddy?
What's wrong?
Who's buddy?
I liked her. I thought she was fun.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so she messaged me back in the app that now I have to have more. She said, well, it sounds like some progress has been made, but we have a ways to go. So now I've got to go back and get my blood work done again so they can adjust my hormones. So that's where I stand in my hormone journey. That's it.
Sorry I asked.
Well, you wanted to pull back the kimono and tell them the truth.
No, I'm not sorry I asked.
Okay.
The people want to know. They want to know.
Nobody wants to hear anybody complain, but it's hard because if, when you don't talk to people about it, you feel like you're the only one struggling, and you're not. I mean, it is a struggle.
So we've basically just started out this podcast. Let me review the tape here. What's happened? We got on here. We kind of mailed in episode 400. We got nothing to celebrate 400. Then I started bitching about a headache, and then you started bitching about your hormones.
Well, no, I was positive though at first.
That's essentially what's happened so far.
Why do people even listen to our podcast? Why have y'all? Why do y'all continue to listen?
You know
I don't even know why.
Because we have this. That's why.
A sponsor?
Yep.
They're listening because they're so excited to hear about the sponsorships.
They're excited to hear about this one. I'm trying to do a segue.
Oh, that was a good one, honey.
Why do I talk like that?
Well, I have had a lot of people reach out to me actually and say they are happy that I shared with them Billy razors.
Billy?
Right? The seasons are changing. We're going to start putting on shorts, putting on bathing suits, heading out, showing more skin. And you want your skin to be soft and smooth and hair-free.
And creamy.
Any time of year, right?
And creamy.
I love the feeling of dolphin smooth legs getting into the sheets after I freshly washed them. It's such a nice feeling. Well, listen, Billy is the best razor for women at half the price you would expect. No pink tax. You don't have to go to the drugstore either because they're delivered right to your doorstep and there's no irritation no matter what with Billy. And like I said, as it does get warmer outside, we're excited about that, but we're still kind of fluctuating, going back and forth, and maybe you're running the heat, and what does that do to your skin? It just sucks all the moisture out of it. And that's why I love shaving with Billy, because Billy razors are super moisturizing and they help detoxify your skin. They've got a built-in 360-degree charcoal shave soap. Charcoal is just this miracle thing that we're discovering recently, right? It works to whiten your teeth and it works to moisturize your legs. Billy is crazy affordable. Their starter kit comes with an award-winning razor, 2 precision 5-blade refill cartridges, their cult favorite magnetic holder, because you don't want to be fishing around with it in soapy water. You can just hang it right there. Billy's on Nylon's beauty hit list. Allure called them the smoothest shave ever. And now I'll just tell you that Billy razor, I've had women reach out to me. They say, thank you for sharing. It's a great razor if you're giving your teenage daughter, your young daughter who's just learning how to shave her legs. That starter kit's a great gift to give when you have that little mother-daughter talk about your daughter and her hairy legs.
So don't suffer another second paying a pink tax for a bad shave. Go to mybilly.com/lovin to get the best razor you will ever own while supporting our show. Billy is half the price of other razors, plus free shipping always. Just go to mybilly.com/lovin. Spelled mybillie.com/lovin. That's mybilly.com/lovin.
Thank you, my Billy.
We love my Billy. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have a Kellie Clapsback tonight.
Oh, we do?
We do. And I didn't write it down, so I'm going to have to reproduce this from memory, which I think I can do because it was a pretty quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we We will share that one.
All right.
Yeah.
And also I want to thank the women. It's been women that have reached out to me who have had children in select sports offering me tips. I had a girl who actually participated in a select team, and she gave me a lot of tips on how to get through those long days at the ball field. Leah Hamlin actually sent
Leah, yeah.
She actually sent me a link to her favorite comfy chair to sit in, because I have seen these from time to time. The the folding chairs that you always carry with you out to the fields. Hers, she rocks. It's like a glider one.
We have Leah, very best customer and friend.
Yeah.
Leah and Josh, we have broken bread with.
Yep.
And have vacationed with.
Yep.
And they're in the great state of Kansas.
Yeah. We miss them.
Yeah.
But thank you all for reaching out. We're looking forward to a great baseball season with Dylan, but I did need some survival tips, and I appreciate those. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But okay, so back to the Instagram survey I did.
Oh.
I just went online and I just popped out a few questions. Sin Galvin has really helped too. Have you ever gotten in touch with Sin Galvin?
Who is now? Now we might have first-time listeners here. Who is Sin Galvin?
Sin Galvin is one of our very best customers who's actually become the producer of our social media.
She's become a social media director, and also, and she does that pro bono,
which is a shame.
Why?
I can't get. I'm just
don't come on here and say I can't get Alan to do any. Don't start saying that, because that's not true.
You're the one that says she's doing it pro bono.
Sin Galvin provided translation services for me, and she was compensated.
How much?
$10.
$10. So for all the work she's done for us so far, she's made a grand total of $10.
Here's the wheels off part. Sin Venmo'd me $45 just so we could have fun together. And then I took 10 of those.
You and I?
Yeah. And then
that was so nice.
And then I took 10 of that 45 and just Venmo'd it back to her.
Goodness,
so I got so get this. I got translation services and I made $35.
Sin, I don't know why you keep helping us, but you do. You're so sweet.
Sin, we love you desperately.
All right. So I asked many, many questions. The one we're going to start with is the very first question I asked, and it's, what is the hardest part of being an adult? I will pose this to my husband, Alan, here on episode 400. Alan, in your opinion, I know there are many difficult parts, but what to you would be the hardest part of adulting?
The hardest part of adulting. I think for me, it's, as your kids grow from infants to toddlers to children to young men and women, there's always something new as a parent that I haven't experienced. So, getting through that, whatever it is, in my mind, without, a lot of parents say, I just don't want to mess my kid up, or I want them to grow up and turn out as good people and compassionate human beings. And I just don't want to do anything to screw that up.
Right.
So I guess working through child raising in a blended family, and also working through things that I've never been through before, and I don't have a manual for, and I've never had training for. I just have to figure it out. Right. To me, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah. And a lot of adults are not parents, but for adults who are parents, you got a lot of people that agree with you in this poll.
Oh,
but okay. I will tell you what the number one response that I got multiple times.
Okay.
The hardest part of adulting, which, are we even using that term anymore? That got overused.
I mean, we can.
Of being an adult is decide. Here's what I quoted one who said it the best: deciding what to feed everyone every effing night.
That's not a problem around here.
Because we don't really restrict.
But
that's what the number one part, the hardest part of being an adult, is deciding what are we having for supper,
deciding what to eat,
cooking it.
Okay.
That is the number one complaint.
Well, maybe I was looking too deep. Maybe I should have.
A lot of people did look deep with you, Alan, but that was the number one hardest part. Everybody wants to eat supper. What's wrong with a peanut butter and jelly or cereal? That's what a lot of people were saying.
Nothing.
So that's the number one part. So if that was your answer, you are not alone. Alan told me the thing he loves that I took off his plate when we got married was what?
Making lunches for the kids.
Making lunches
Kellie
for the
makes
kids.
she makes a great lunch.
I
She
just
packs
throw
them.
crap in there.
No, she's selling herself short here. She packs good lunches. She packs them very neatly. There's always a napkin and a little plastic fork and spoon in there, and then she'll write the Dylan's name or Cole's name on the bag. It's just so nice. And I remember when I was by myself and I was doing that part of it too. It was just always you're about to go to bed, like the kids are asleep, and then I'm like, oh, good, everybody's asleep. Now I can go to sleep, or I can watch TV for a minute and then go to sleep. It's like, oh no, I forgot to make lunches. So then get up off the couch, go into the kitchen. Man, I just remember doing that. And then when Kellie kind of offered to help with that, you did.
I don't remember.
You did.
I think it was kind of like you came to me and it's like, would you mind?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Lunches? And then it just kind of became.
It was like a freaking lunch angel.
Yeah.
The lunch angel.
I don't make supper every night, but I do pack all the kids' lunches. But I feel so guilty with Emma Kellie because, we don't have our boys with us the majority of the time. We have Emma Kellie with us the majority of the time. And man, I just I'm so guilty of fast food, frozen food. I just throw stuff together. I'm horrible. So supper is a very stressful thing for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping with the theme of that, one person said, having a kitchen, you're always either dirtying it up or cleaning it. Okay. One of the responses, no one prepares you for the things you need to know owning a home.
Yeah. Because you learn a lot owning a home, for sure.
Yeah.
You would consider me somewhat handy, right?
I mean, very handy.
Okay. I mean, and you know why that is? Because I've owned a lot of different houses.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought my first house in a prior lifetime, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know boo about anything. So one of the first things I did, I went to a Home Depot. Remember Home Depot used to do the classes?
Yes, every Saturday morning.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do.
I think they still do. I don't. Maybe with COVID, they maybe put it on pause.
Homie D's used to do classes, and I would go over there. I went over there once. I took a tile class because I wanted to lay down tile in the bathroom.
Were a lot of you there?
I don't.
Was it a big, well-attended class?
This was 25 something years ago. Yeah, 20 something years ago. Anyway, I don't remember, but I didn't know anything when I first bought a house, but I think you just kind of pick that up as you go along, right?
Single ladies, listen.
All the single ladies.
Go see if they're doing those classes at Home Depot anymore, and you can get in there and learn how to do stuff. I think guys kind of dig it when a woman shows up for those classes, don't you think?
Yeah, but I don't know that there'll be a lot of single dudes at that thing.
They could be all married men.
All married men trying to figure out how to freaking paint a nursery.
Well, it's still as a woman homeowner, a lot of women are deciding, and I'm not waiting for my knight in shining armor to come along. I bought a home before I got married, and what did I have to end up doing? Relying on handymen, hoping I wasn't getting ripped off to do things. So that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went down
a bunny hole there.
I didn't really organize these, so I'm just I kind of went in order of the way people answered and tried to group some of them together. Constant dishes and laundry, chores that you don't get paid for. I guess as kids, you used to do the chores and you got an allowance.
These are good, but they seem to be things that are most beating about adulting.
That's what they said. Keeping kids alive.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying.
Fighting the temptation to drop kick a child. They do get a little frustrating. One person wrote, raising teenagers, especially our daughters, raising kids that love Jesus in a world that doesn't.
For sure.
That's really hard.
That's really, really smart.
And I'm guilty. I haven't really, when I started off with Emma Kellie, we were in church. I had her in the Sunday school program, and then we left the church we were in, and I kind of fell out of going. And now Emma Kellie's like, I wish I had her in a good youth program. But now she's like, I don't know anybody in there. I don't want to walk in there by myself. I don't know anybody. So I dropped the ball on that really bad. How about this one? As an adult, what is the hardest part of being an adult? Watching your adult children struggle. That's hard.
See, that's what I meant. As you get older, you run into things that you have never experienced before. Mm-hmm. So if that happens to us someday, how will we react to it? How will we handle it?
Because I've seen in my own family, when you have adult children who have different issues, whether it's addiction issues, marital issues, holding a job issues, mm-hmm. What do you do? you tough love would be figure it out. But then part of you, like with my family, in my own personal experience, I moved away. I was trying to do it on my own, and I was okay. I was survive. It was not a big deal. But my parents were adamant that I finish college, so they said, "Come home. You can live with us, rent free. Finish your degree." And so that's what I did. So a lot of adult children move back in with their parents for different reasons, but that's why I moved back home, and I was still living there when I turned 27. Right, the month after I turned 27 is when I moved to Dallas. But that's how my story was. Did you ever move back in with your family once you moved out?
No, I didn't. And I know my mom and dad would have totally been fine with that if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
But when I graduated from tech, I had a job lined up. I was very, very fortunate because the market wasn't great. This was 1993, and the job market wasn't great. It was okay. And I found a really good job in Dallas. So I moved from Lubbock, my dorm room, in May. I moved to Dallas in June.
But watching your adult children struggle, I know that's hard. Because I like to think, even when I was divorced and single, and I was a single mom with a baby, and I was, you're so depressed and sad, and this is never going to work out. And I thought, well, I could always move back in with my parents. That was my thought, which I didn't have to do. But it's always nice to know they're there. But another part of growing older, being an adult, and a lot of people said, was your parents, losing your parents. Yeah. Taking care of them, the roles shifting where you are now the caretaker of your parents. You're having to make some very difficult decisions for your parents, and then having them pass away.
Yeah.
And neither one of us have dealt with that yet.
And
we know intelligently that it's coming. But we know it's coming, the natural course of things. See, Alan doesn't even want to think about it, but it's going to come. And many years ago, I had to finally go to my parents and say, look, y'all need to put something down on paper. Because, it's just me and my brother, Ryan.
Oh.
And if we are in a position where we have to make decisions for you guys, we need to know what you want. And so that's what they did finally. And it wasn't an easy conversation to have, but I had it when my parents were young younger. My parents are young. I have young parents. They had me when they were young. So I didn't wait until it was like a major health crisis and, oh my gosh, we almost lost them. Thank goodness we didn't. What are we going to do? So that's did you ever have that conversation with your parents?
No, I haven't really.
You need to.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe your sister hasn't told you.
Yeah.
Truly, your sister is probably the one that would probably, I think daughters, maybe think about that more, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just personal experience.
I don't know. I don't like to talk about parents.
You don't like to talk about it, but you have to. Because if you don't, because I witnessed, my daddy was the baby of 12. And when his parents passed away, my grandmother died first, Grandma Rasberry, and then Granddaddy Rasberry. The fighting that went on among the kids over they were fighting over the stupidest little things.
Isn't that crazy?
And my grandparents were poor people. They didn't have anything. And they were fighting over a lamp and just things like that. And just things were said that, some of those relationships were damaged so badly. It took years to recover from them. And it's just like, it was a conversation that somebody should have had.
Kellie and I have friends where we've seen that, where someone's dad passes away and he had been remarried, and then,
what happens in your will, you leave everything to your spouse,
right? So everything's left to the spouse, which, technically isn't a blood relative, and all the children are like, what the hell? We've seen some ugly stuff.
Very ugly. So y'all need to have those conversations, Alan, as tough as it is. It's just something you have to do. Another hard part of being an adult is making every single decision for yourself and your family.
Yeah. As parents, you have to lead.
Yeah.
So you have to make some tough decisions sometimes.
There's no one to tell you no. I'll tell you what, kids will fight against you, but there is a comfort and a sense of security and safety knowing that your parents are there to tell you no. I would go and bow up against my parents because my friends were wanting to do something, but I was a little scared to do certain things with my friends. I remember Sonia Adams wanted me to go with her down to spring break in Myrtle Beach, and I was terrified because I was a very good kid. I was a virgin. I just didn't, and I knew what happened down at the Myrtle Beach during spring break, and
What
it was going to
happened?
be people lose their virginity, Alan, and
Really?
people are drinking and they're partying
These
and
church
all
going
sorts
people?
of stuff. I'm just saying, I know bad things happen, but I didn't want my friends to think I wasn't cool. And so when I went to my parents and they were like, absolutely not, you're not going. No, I got to go back to my friends and say, my mean parents told me no. And I'm like, thank God I had somebody to tell me no.
I agree with you. I think kids, you can't just let them call their own shots, make their own decisions.
They need
I think
boundaries.
in a way, they don't know it, but it's good for them to have boundaries. In fact, I'm not going to name the kid, but I have I've had to make some tough decisions with one of them lately and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm sorry, this is the way it has to be. But you've shown me that you have to have a punishment like this, and we're going to have to do this. And I know it sucks for you. It sucks for me because I don't like doing this, but this is the way it's going to be.
But you feel protected when your parents there to protect you from stuff like that. You might be mad about it, but
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to crack down on your kids sometimes.
I know.
It is hard because you love them and you don't want to make them upset. But sometimes you have to say, no, this is the way it's going to be in this house. This is a rule we have. So
another one was losing friendships when our life stages don't align. And that happens. Sometimes people in your life for a season of life and they're like your best friend and everything's great, but then for whatever reason, your life takes two different paths and you lose some very good friends along the way.
That's a hard one about adulting. I have some really good friends that you've never met, and they're friends from college. I don't think you know anybody that I went to college with.
No, I don't.
And I had some guys I was really, really tight with, especially during college for sure. But then when I moved to Dallas, they moved to Dallas too, and we kind of ran around and we were friends. And they got jobs, I got jobs, and
were they the people you played basketball with?
Some of them were, yeah. But then one of my really close friends in particular, he moved to another state and got a really great job and started a family there. And I had met his wife when he first met his now wife. I'd met his girlfriend when they were in Dallas, but then he moved off, got married. I went to his wedding. I think I went to his wedding. Yeah, I went to his wedding. And he's now got two grown boys. I mean, they're 14, 15, and I have not seen him. Gosh, I can't remember the last time.
Try reaching out.
Oh, I could totally reach out. We're friends on Facebook, but like you were saying, you go through life and friends come in, and then sometimes things happen and they go out.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it is a bad thing. There's a falling out, you know, and it can be really ugly. I've seen that.
And we didn't have a falling out. This was more of he just moved and we kind of lost touch,
Another one is, and I had somebody write me a love letter to Kellie, and I just answered it today.
Love letters to Kellie.
It's going to air on a future podcast. We just recorded it, but I referred to this woman wrote and said she was so happy because she's really struggled to make friends, and that's what this one is making friends. It seems like everyone has 1,000, and I maybe have 2. As a single person, a lot of us talk about finding love. And, everybody's looking for their life, their husband, their wife and stuff. But that is a struggle for a lot of people. But a lot of people are struggling just to make friends as an adult. That's hard. And the woman that wrote me, she was like, I finally got a friend. And now, I'm so excited. And she said, but now she's starting to bring all of her other friends over to my house and hang out. And and she didn't like that. I said, why don't you look at that as an excuse to expand your friendship circle, right? It's all in how you look at it. But making new friends as an adult is hard. That's always for the past couple of years, that's been my goal for the year, is to make a new friend.
Yeah. I think my insight on that would be you can go to a bar and meet fun people to drink with, and hang out with,
and you go back to the bar next week, they'll still be there,
right? And those aren't really not really your friends, just people. But I've found in life to make a connection with somebody, you make a connection with somebody who really loves doing things that you love to do too, because you automatically have something in common. That's why I've always thought golf is one of the regardless of what you think about golf, or if you play golf or not, it's one of the greatest sports to meet people and to network and to make acquaintances and make good friends too, because you automatically, if you're a golfer and I'm a golfer, we automatically speak the same language and we automatically have things in common. And it's so easy to become friends with people like that. I'm noticing, with my new hobby I'm so passionate about now, motorcycling. There's so many people don't care that you ride a motorcycle. Nobody cares unless the other guy rides a motorcycle. Right. And then he is like your best friend because you guys have all these things in common. You can talk about, all these things that nobody else cares about, so I'm finding that if you pick up a new hobby and surround yourself with people who love doing that hobby too, that could be a way to make friends.
Yeah, it is hard, but that's a hard part of adulting. Working for money and then giving it to the IRS, paying bills, that was a lot of that. Here's the thing that kind of resonated with me, because I think I struggle with this from time to time. Having to get up, lather, rinse, repeat every day, finding purpose in life. Because I think a lot of us, it's like, what am I doing?
That's a tough one.
Why am I do the same thing every day. I get up, I go to work, I go pick up the kids from school, I go home, I cook dinner, do laundry, put everybody to bed the next day, lather, rinse, repeat. And it's day after day. It's like, what am I doing here? What is my purpose? I think a lot of people deal with that.
I think so too. I think that's one where people, especially, and I experienced this myself in the corporate world, when you get into the big corporate machine and you're a little tiny piece of this giant machine, and you just find yourself thinking, well, I have a great job. I make good money. I have a place to go during the day and work and go home, and it provides me security and benefits and all these things. But I think you find yourself asking that question a lot. I know I did. Like, is this what I'm here for?
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help out with the marketing in this little specialized job, the online marketing for this giant corporation, so that we can sell this widget. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm here, really? And, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to work and making money. But I think a lot of people who have the 9 to 5 and have to work for a corporation, especially, they ask themselves that.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Well, I'm going to get to a few more of those real quick after this, because speaking of work, a lot of people during the pandemic, maybe they had to do a career shift. That 9 to 5 job they used to have, they're like, well, you know what? A lot of people made the choice, that doesn't bring me joy. I'm going to find my passion. And they started their own online e-commerce shops, right? And now what happens when you're running your own business? You got to get that product out to your customers, and shipping becomes an issue. Well, you got to stop down everything to get your shipping labels done, or run to the post office and let them do it for you. Have you ever been behind that person? Have you ever been behind that person at the post office who shows up with just baskets and baskets and rolling carts full of packages?
Yes.
You don't have to do that. Not if you use stamps.com.
Stamps.com.
Skip those trips to the post office, and you can focus on how to take your business, your small business, your big business, to the next level. Because with stamps.com, you can print official postage right from your computer. It saves you money in the process. So you spend less time at the post office and more time making your customers happy. For more than 20 years, stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses. They give you access to all the services of the post office, to UPS shipping services, right from your own computer. In fact, that's all you really need to bring to the table is your computer and any standard printer. And you'll get discounts like up to 40% off US Postal Service rates, up to 76% off UPS rates.
Wow.
And, so whether you're sending just invoices out, maybe you've got a side hustle on Etsy or eBay, or you've got a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, stamps.com is going to make your life so much easier. You print those labels, you slap them on the packages, schedule a pickup, or drop them off. Any letter, any package going anywhere in the world you want to send.
So stop overpaying for shipping with stamps.com. Sign up with promo code SANDWICH for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code SANDWICH.
Thank you, stamps.com, longtime supporter.
I bet they've been on
almost 400 episodes.
I bet they've been on here 400 episodes.
A lot of them. All right. Are you enjoying these thought-provoking answers from our listeners?
No, these are good to go through and think about.
Great. All right, back to our list. So just to remind you, I went on my Instagram at Kellie Rasberry in my stories, and I did a little, you can ask questions, and I just asked, what is the hardest part of being an adult? And we're going through some of the answers that people gave. Some of them are kind of fun, and some of them are really thought-provoking.
What is life?
Well, what is your purpose? That is,
Yeah.
Being constantly tired. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. Needing an adult and then realizing you're the adult. That's like leading your mommy and then realizing, oh, wait, I'm the mommy.
You're looking for someone to lead and you're the only.
And you're the lead.
You're the only leader.
It's up to you. Advocating and standing up for yourself because no one else will. Setting boundaries.
Okay.
Nothing to add on that one.
Advocating for yourself, like being your own cheerleader, is tough to do. Yeah, I guess that is.
I guess as a child, you just do what you're told, but then maybe as an adult, it's kind of hard in the workplace if your boss is telling you what to do. But more and more people are standing up for themselves, and I don't know. I get what they're saying. I don't know if that's the hardest part for me.
Probably not for us.
Yeah.
But I think that's a valid input there.
Not knowing if you're doing it right. Feeling like all the other adults are more adultier than you are.
Yeah, comparison is the silent thief of joy. Right?
Yeah, I do look at other. We are guilty of comparing, not just Alan and me, but I think everybody. You're guilty of looking at other families and like, man, they've got it together. Just going back to this select baseball thing we're on. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, and some people seem to have it all figured out. But
I used to have a harder time with that than I do now.
Yeah.
That used to be a hard thing for me.
Comparing yourself to other parents or what?
Yeah, especially when it came to parenting and why is my family different than other families kind of thing, But I've come to realize it's not just me. There are a lot of families like our family.
And I think we're in the Instagram generation, the Facebook generation, where we can put any pretty picture online that we want, and it's a facade of what's really going on. I mean, that's the shocking part. You see people through their social media, husband and wife, I love you. You're my favorite, my boo thing. And
boo
whatever.
Thing?
Boo thing.
What is boo thing?
It's whatever they say.
Oh.
And then next thing you know, it's like, Tom and Mary are getting a divorce. What happened? They were so happy on social media because, like I said, we're so busy looking at them like, my husband didn't call me boo thing on Instagram.
How come you don't call me boo thing?
Oh, whatever. Time management, making time for everything and everyone, chasing that idea of balance. Yeah, that also leads to being tired. The constant responsibility. There are no days off. You may be off work, but there's always something that needs to be done.
True. Always.
Having to buck up and do the difficult stuff yourself.
Comes with being an adult.
Well, that's the hard part of being an adult.
You got to make the tough decisions, yeah. Feeling
selfish for wanting alone time away from the kids and your spouse.
Yeah, that's a valid adulting issue, I guess. I mean, I love spending time with the kids, but sometimes you feel like, well, gosh, I wish I had free time to do this or that today.
But see, we're a divorced family.
But it's a little different for us because we do have.
Right. And so when we do have the kids, it's 100% about the kids.
Right.
But one of the things when Alan and I got married, he went into his man cave for the first time, which we happen to be sitting in right now, recording the podcast. And I had my feelings hurt a little bit. I'm like, why don't you want to sit out here with me? Why don't you want to be with me? We're in love. We just got married. We're newlyweds. But he needed to sit in his office.
And what do I do in here?
He has the TV on Fox News while he's online looking up funny memes or Harley Davidson videos or whatever he's doing. And I'm like, you know what?
Fair and balanced, by the way.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. And he just needs his alone time. And like Alan and I, we were just discussing before we came on the podcast that there is the possibility that we did have plans to go as a family to an event, but it looks like that's not happening. And so I'm like, well, can I go maybe spend a weekend with just my girlfriend, just me, because I think it is important to kind of get some time separate.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
But I can see how that's a stressor. And for some people can't afford to like just take off and go somewhere, but for a mom or a dad, like a lot of moms say, the only time I'm alone is when I'm in the bathroom. So you just pour that bubble bath and chill out in there for an hour, hour and a half, and
I'm never alone in the bathroom.
that's true.
I always got
the dogs at your
2
knees.
sets of beady eyes looking at me.
Oh, this is a good one. One of the hardest parts of being an adult, family holidays.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I get so super stressed out,
Me
and I've
too.
said this before. I spend so much time trying to make sure everybody's happy. And what happens? Nobody's happy, especially me, because it's just you cannot please
I
everybody.
think we had a great holiday season this year.
It's so stressful.
It is stressful, but everybody was very happy, I thought. I was.
You were.
Was I not?
Because who takes care of everything?
Oh, you did.
Right.
You take care of a lot.
Right? But it's like
I'm giving you the glory.
I take care of everything. I'm sweating, and I guess maybe it's weird to say that that's kind of part of the
I wrapped a few presents.
fun, maybe, is being that little bit of stress and getting it all done.
I moved the elf on the shelf. Well,
No.
actually, well, wait a second. He does not move by somebody moving him. He has magical powers.
And sometimes you had to remind the elf.
I had to remind the elf to
Right.
move.
We
Right.
fail at that a
Right.
lot too.
Right.
But family holidays, especially if it's tough if you're a divorced family, blended family, and it's back and forth. And, sometimes it's way more fun at one family's house with the other, but you still got to go. And it's just tough. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't drive around. It's like we had Christmas at our house and you can come over if you want or not. We didn't go running around like we do now, but that's what we do now. Money management, saving for retirement, financial security. I used to suffer really badly from bag lady syndrome. That's a very real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is when I was younger. I don't have it as much
an
now.
outdated term, isn't it?
Well, it's what it was called.
What's a bag lady?
I was afraid.
Like a female bum?
Yeah, a homeless person. I was afraid I was going to lose everything and not be able. Oh, Alan, stop it! I'm trying to get us out. I was afraid I was going to lose everything. I was going to be fired. I was going to lose my source of income, and I was going to be homeless. And that financial security. And I still do sometimes wonder, do we have enough to survive until we die? People do it. That's a real fear for a lot of people.
If we ever turn destitute, you know what we're going to do?
Move in with my parents?
Well, no. What we're going to do, I'm going to throw Kellie Rasberry Evans on the back of my bike. We're going to pack a tent in one of the saddlebags, and we're going to ride up to Montana.
So you're not homeless if you choose to live that way.
If you choose to live that way, then you're just a nomad or a vagabond.
As a single woman, being an adult is hard because I have to do it all by myself. I have no one to lean on for help. Also, another woman said, figuring out how to pay all the bills after losing my husband. That happens to a lot of ladies later in life because the husband handles everything and you're just like, now what? Where is all the money?
I need to show you how everything works.
Oh, what?
Like everything. Like
what?
Well, how I pay stuff. Like you don't even know that.
I could figure out what our bills are.
Yeah, but some are online. Some I write a check for. Some.
You still write checks?
Yeah.
Why?
You know why? Here's why.
Yes, why?
I got a zip cash. Sometimes you get a zip cash from the North Texas Tollway Authority in the mail. And they're like, sign up to pay your tolls online. I swear to God, I consider myself a somewhat savvy online person. I screwed around and ricked around with their website for a good 20 minutes trying to create a zip cash account so I could pay my freaking bill online. And I got so fed up, I just like, screw this. I'm just going to write them a damn check. At which point I did. I wrote them a check, licked a stamp, and put it on there.
Why don't you just call up there?
Oh, that's even worse.
I'll tell you what, if you live in Texas and you ever have to deal with the toll tag office, that is the most streamlined, best experience to call them.
To call them?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you now, unless it's changed. But they're 2 miles from us.
No, I know
the office.
No, I know where the office is.
But I have called up there and I'm like, they are so helpful. And I have like every once in a while when I change cars or something and there's like a tag issue and you're waiting for your new tag to get delivered and you have to pay. Very, very helpful. I just want to throw that out
I
there.
did write a check. Oh, I got to write a check to Ciro, our landscaper.
Yeah. He doesn't do Venmo?
No. No. Cash only.
All right.
Cash only.
And on this last one, we already talked about your parents aging and how hard it is to watch them, and we're going to be the caretakers of them. But somebody said the hardest part about being an adult is aging, ourselves aging. Somebody wrote, body injuries can happen just by getting out of bed, not being able to move without sound effects, and forgetting everything.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
The only thing that's whipping me about, and I think I've told you this, about my health as I've gotten a little older is my reading glasses. That's a whooping. You automatically look 10 years older.
I like reading glasses.
When you put reading glasses on, I'm always losing them, or I'm sitting on them, or, they're just a whoop.
I think they're sexy.
Everything else is working okay. I mean, my plumbing's working all right. I don't.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Really.
Never know.
I mean, it works kind of half the time, I guess.
But it is true. It's like, I remember one time I reached back to get the toilet paper and I threw my back out. I've never been in more pain. And it's like, you just reach for something. It's like, oh my God, there it goes. Climbing up and down the stairs now, you should hear the orchestra going on in my kneecaps. It's like, what is happening?
A lot of popping.
What is happening? Why does that happen as you get older? Is it because
I don't know,
stuff is wearing away, so there's air in there? I don't know.
I don't know the answer. That's a good, add that to Dylan's list of questions I can't answer.
Yeah, it's not fun to look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, every once in a while it hits you. We're getting older, but that's just part of it, isn't it?
Is that all of it?
That was it.
Well, that's a good list, babe.
Yeah, I kind of edited out,
Very nice.
Some of them, like I said, were a little funnier than others, but some of them are really some deep-ish, right?
Well, maybe we'll save our Kellie claps back for next time.
You already promised. You can't. You have to.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to do this off the top of my head. So, okay, here's how first of all, Kellie claps back. Just real quick. I have an unfounded, undeserved reputation on this podcast for giving Kellie a hard time. Okay.
As you just witnessed when I was trying to talk a minute ago and he wouldn't let me finish the sentence.
Right. So people hear this. They think they hear me giving Kellie a hard time. They send me emails. They send me text messages.
What do they say?
They say, Alan, you need to be nicer to Kellie. I've been listening to Kellie. 1862, I have. I was her number one fan.
Was?
Yes, and I still am. I don't like you, but I'm her fan. Now listen to me, Alan. I have been listening to her so long. She was a kid on the Eagle.
I was never on the Eagle.
Well, she was. I listened to it. Now here's the deal. You be nicer to her.
Or what?
My sweet Kellie. I don't like you. I like her.
All right.
I like her much better than you.
Okay.
But if you heard how Kellie talks to me in this home, in my home, you would be horrified. You would be mortified. And that's where...
you'd be highly entertained.
And that's where Kellie claps back comes. And this week...
This one made me laugh out loud. I thought it was pretty funny.
This week, we are in the master bathroom. Now, I had earlier in the day a meeting with our tax people. So I do this. This is something I took over from Kellie. She is so out on talking to tax people. So out.
I'm like, why am I here?
Right.
I'm sitting there doodling on a pad. Like, why am I here?
So when we
I need to go home and pack lunches.
When we meet, we talk about how glazed over your eyes are.
Really?
Yes. And we laugh about it.
Oh.
So anyway, earlier in the day, I had met with, and our tax people are actually really great.
They're very nice.
They're very nice.
I'm just like, do I have what's going on?
Yeah. So when I met with our tax people, like 5 minutes of it is business and 55 minutes of it is
shooting the breeze.
Shooting the bull. Yeah. And we're just kind of catching up. I hadn't seen them in a year. Talk about COVID. How's the family? How's the business? Blah, 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 and we get on the subject about hiring people. And the head of this accounting firm, he was telling me, he said, it's really hard to find good people. And I think a lot of businesses have the same thing. Yeah. Restaurants, it doesn't really matter what business you're in, hard to find good people. So he says, yeah, I had one come in the other day and she sat over there, kind of the seat you're in. I was interviewing her, and I really wanted to hire her. And at the very end, she goes, "Okay, I have a problem." And he said, "Okay, what's your problem?" And she said, "I only work at home." And he said, "Well, I appreciate that, and we'd love to hire you, but we work here at work. We all come into work. That's just part of our culture." It's a
Camaraderie thing too.
yeah. He just feels like, as the CEO of his company, that he wants people to be at work so he can talk to them, and they have the technology to do remote, but he prefers that everybody come into work. That's just the way he likes it. And she said, "Well, I'm not going to work here then." And he said, "I'm sorry." And he said, it's hard because this was a very qualified person and we wanted to hire her, but that was the one thing she didn't want to do. Okay. So fast forward to me and Kellie. I forgot what we were doing in the master.
I was taking a shower.
You were taking a shower?
You had already had one, and now I was taking mine.
Okay. So I tell Kellie the same story I just told you about our accounting people telling me they're having a hard time finding people to work. So I tell Kellie, "So Alan, yeah, babe, I really kind of empathize with them up there, because I remember when I was in the corporate world and we had to work at home for whatever reason, I wouldn't do jack crap. I wouldn't do squat. I would be distracted, screwing around, reading online, doing laundry. I wouldn't do shit. Kellie, you don't do shit now."
Followed by a big belly laugh.
I don't do shit now.
Tell them how you go to the office. Okay, tell them what you do at your office when you go to Starbucks.
Which office? I got a lot of offices.
Your Starbucks
I'm
office.
doing social media deals.
He's doing social media deals, which means he's posting memes.
That's not true. Well, I do
and
post
sending
memes.
memes.
I do post a lot of
Instagram.
memes. Yes, I do post. Amy Wilkerson actually gives me a lot
Amy
of
Wilkerson. So
yeah.
he's weeding through Amy Wilkerson's memes, deciding which memes to repost. And that's when he takes a break, because sometimes he needs a little break, he'll go look for stuff to buy on Harley Davidson's website.
I can't believe.
Let me tell y'all what he gave me today. A belated Christmas gift he gave to me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, he handed it to me. It's in a Harley Davidson little box. And I'm just like, maybe it's going to be like a bait and switch.
Uh-huh.
At first, when you said it's a belated Christmas gift, I was like, maybe it's a bait and switch.
Oh, you thought it was wrapped to deceive?
I thought maybe for a second until I opened it.
And then what was it?
And there were 3 miniature Harley Davidson ornaments, not like little cute motorcycles. One was like a gas tank,
a helmet,
and
another gas tank, I think.
And they're
limited edition.
They're dark. They're like black and forest green. And I'm like, well, they're not going to show up on the tree. Number 1. Number 2, this is not for me. This is not for me. This is something else that you did at the office when you were working.
Come on, man. Come on.
Well,
can't believe
prove me wrong.
I prove you wrong all the time. Can't believe you said her. You don't do shit.
You don't do shit now.
God. All right, there you go, guys. So
all the fun we have.
So I have to have a very, very strong self-image, backbone, thick skin, and an iron constitution to live in this house.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I do make it hard. I'm no fun.
That's not true.
Y'all are just so lucky you're not married to me.
That's not true.
Going through menopause, not cooking.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Like I've said before, babe, you're good at a lot of things.
But
everyone has strengths and weaknesses.
What are my strengths?
Your strengths? You pack a mean kid's lunch.
That's a strength, okay.
You keep that you keep that
struggling.
You keep that laundry moving. You make sure our schedule is up to date. You make sure our pantry is full of food at all times. Rarely
No.
do I run out of anything.
You ain't running out of nothing.
Right. See, you do
I'm
lies.
turning into a mini hoarder.
Unlike you, I give you the glory. I don't try to blow your candle out.
Babe, I thank you all the time for all you do around here, and you know it.
I know, I'm just kidding. All right, babe. Well, we're going long. Love you desperately.
I love you.
You got anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, good stuff. I'm just going to go back to not doing shit now. All right. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich. Bye.
You didn't say I love you desperately. I love our listeners desperately.
Did I not?
No.
Oh.
Oh, well. Got distracted.
Got distracted. I started to panic because we were going up on against an hour.
Why would you panic?
Well, I don't know. I thought we were kind of going along. Thank you, Angelie. What I missed, guys? I miss anything? Hello, Julie's overalls. Love you desperately, Darla. Got my Clark Kent glasses on. Thank you, Julie. Well, guess I got to upload this to stop talking. A sandwich and some 400?
We could do that, but we really didn't do anything, you know?
A sandwich and some...
Hard parts about
a sandwich and some adulting? A sandwich and some debating adulting? A sandwich and some... Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, CJ. These are my nice ones. These are my Caddis. These aren't my Home Depot ones. The hormone pellet? Jackie says something about hormone pellet.
My doctor won't let me do it anymore.
Can't do pellets, Jackie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm stronger. You're not chopped liver. You're never chopped liver. I champion the listener. I don't gyp the listener. I champion the listener. Hey, Jess. Yeah, we try to have a good time. You got to listen, though, too, or Boss Man George is going to get real grumpy. He's going to get grumpy at us for doing this. So you gotta download and listen, too. Or he'll put his big Boss Man George boot on my neck and say, we can't do this anymore. Amen. All right, guys.
Thank y'all.
I love you guys desperately. We will talk to you real soon.